Hi, welcome to this industry engagement webinar for Mid Ulster Council. This is with regards to the International Appalachian Trail Ulster Ireland and the various service providers that are along the route. By way of introduction, my name is Jane Woodrow and I work for Outdoor Recreation Northern Ireland as one of their marketing officers, and I'm delighted to be working on this project with a number of other colleagues from the marketing department. Our role within this project is to promote the trail to American visitors and visitors from the Republic, as well as local visitors to the area who can really add in this IAT experience into their visit. We'll also be promoting the trail to long distance through walkers who want to walk this as part of a challenge walk. They may want to do this over a series of weekends, or they may wish to do it in one go. The advantage of this is they see all the different varying landscapes that are available along the route. So why are we talking about this trail? Well, the trail was actually launched in August 2013. However, with limited marketing support, the trail remains rather unknown amongst walkers. Now, in saying that, the trail of the IAT through Northern Ireland actually picks up the famous Ulster Way, which many walkers are familiar with. We hope that through this marketing campaign that we raise the profile of the trail and people get to experience what it's all about. The trail and capital works came about as part of a North-South Rural Development Fund, and the councils have been working hard to put in new infrastructure along the trail, divert the trails, so in some cases the trail has actually moved off-road. They've put in new way markers to stop people getting lost, new styles, new steps, and various improvement works that really have made a difference. So what is this trail about? Well, I'm going to explain that to you in just a moment. But just to give you by way of outline, this webinar will introduce the various capital works that are going on within the council area, and this will be presented to you by Anne Reid from Mid Ulster Council. Anne is the Parks and Countryside Development Officer, and Anne is really passionate about trails that run through Mid Ulster, and we know that'll be a really insightful presentation for you. You'll also hear from Eve Nicholson. Eve is the representative we have from Wales Coastal Path. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us for all of our webinars, but she took the time to do a pre-recording for us, which really gives us an insight into how a long distance walking trail such as the Wales Coastal Path has really shaped the tourism provision along the route, from accommodation, food and drink, to those that are providing walking tours and other such activities for walkers. We hope that you really enjoy this webinar, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch. The Appalachian Mountains were formed some more than 250 million years ago during the Paleozoic era, when the Earth's plates collided to form the supercontinent of Pangaea. They straddled to form the central part of the continent, in which is today's Eastern North America, Eastern Greenland, Western Europe, and Northwest Africa. When Pangaea separated to form the Atlantic Ocean, remnants of the Appalachian Caledonian Mountains ended up in the eastern United States and Canada, Greenland, Scandinavia, and the British Isles. And we can see that various countries have taken up the mantle to create and promote their walking trail. There are now 23 chapters of the trail, which basically means the places where the trail can be found, and you can find out more about these on the IAT website. You'll see that these trails, a lot of them actually cross borders, and that is really the mission of the trail. So where did the trail originate? Well, the trail actually was an idea that popped into a man called Dick Anderson's head in October 1993. Dick, the Commissioner of the Maine Department of Conservation, often travelled frequently to neighbouring Canadian provinces of New Brunswick and Quebec and so on. And he knew that the Appalachian Mountains didn't suddenly just end at the US-Canadian border. So we thought, why then shouldn't a hiking trail continue to follow them into Canada? And it was over the next 6 months that Dick and a number of other people developed a plan to create just that, a trail connecting Maine through to Quebec. On Earth Day in April 22nd, 1994, the proposal to build a hiking trail through the Northern Appalachian Mountains was announced in a news conference by the Governor of Maine, Joseph E. Brennan. So this is really exciting. So the steps that were taken in US-Canadian areas have also been taken in other countries across the world. It began as a commitment between the US state of Maine and provincial Canada to work together as neighbours to sustain a shared environment and celebrate the grandeur of common landscape. The idea behind it was to help improve footfall to the area and also connect the people and various cultures along the way. And this is something we're really excited about, not only to take up the mission of thinking beyond borders, but to really give visitors an insight into what is available for them to experience along the trail, whether that be flora and fauna, beautiful scenery, or even things like the history of people from Ireland who travelled to America. Those stories, we hope, are brought out to them as they journey along the trail, so they leave even more knowledgeable and in awe than when they first arrived. So to tell you a little more about the capital works that have gone on along the 9-mile section of trail through Mid-Ulster, I'm now going to pass you over to Anne Reid. As I said, Anne Reid is the Parks and Countryside Development Officer for Mid-Ulster. You can also get in touch with her directly if you want to ask more about the specifics of the capital works, but we hope you enjoy her presentation.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Anne Reid. I'm the Parks and Countryside Development Officer with Mid-Ulster District Council. I would like to take this opportunity to talk you through the route of the International Appalachian Trail within Mid-Ulster District Council area. The route in Mid-Ulster joins us from the west, from Derry and Strabane District Council area. It leaves the B47 Glenelly Road along a farm track up over Crockbrack Hill and then onto Crockmore. This is currently a walking route, and it is probably known locally as Crockbrack Way. From here it descends down through a series of farm laneways and minor country roads until it joins onto the B40, and this point you would be turning left, heading into Moneyneeney Village. If you continue along this road just on the existing road footpath network, past the primary school, past the Anne Radu Centre, and continue on up until you meet the main entrance with Moydamlet Forest. At Moydamlet Forest, the route follows the existing forest trails through the forest and up to Eagles Rock. At this point you climb over the first stile, which takes you sort of to the bottom of the scree at Eagles Rock, and then up over the top, not over the top of the scree I should say, round the side to the other stile and across the open hillside, and follow the waymarked route there where it drops down, leaving Mid-Ulster District Council and into the Glen Sheehan Forest, which is part of Causeway Coast and Glen District Council. This map just gives you a bit of an overview, clearly showing the two different forests there near the top of the slide and the open hillside. Thank you very much for listening to me this evening. And if you have any queries or questions, please feel free to get in touch. Kerry will provide my contact details, and I can talk you through some of the route links and things if anyone has any queries. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne, for that presentation. It's fantastic to see so much work has and is going on within Mid Ulster Council along the section of just 9 miles, but it's great to hear of so many quite large projects going on, from car park developments, the lovely new signage going in, so that's fantastic. Thank you. I'm going to move on now to introduce you to a presentation by my colleague Beverly and myself, and we're going to just take you through firstly a very general look across Ulster Ireland the trail, and just look at the visitor service provision, take a look at who the visitor is and what they're looking for. And we'll also be talking about how our upcoming marketing campaign can support you. So things like getting listed on the website or getting involved in the marketing campaign that's coming up. Beverly is the lead on this project. She's marketing manager at Outdoor Recreation Northern Ireland. So she's going to present first, and then I'm going to jump in afterwards.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Beverly McGowan. I'm Outdoor Recreation NI's Marketing Manager, and I'm also leading the marketing project for the International Appalachian Trail Ulster Ireland. And this evening my presentation is going to go over how local businesses can benefit from and service visitors to the trail. So just to give you an overview of the route itself, it's 280 miles in length, which equates to around 450 kilometres. And there in the black on the left hand side, you'll see that it starts at West Donegal at Slieve League. It passes through the Blue Stack Mountains before then it picks up the Ulster Way in Northern Ireland. It goes through the Sperrin Mountains, then up towards the Causeway Coast before making its way down through the Glens of Antrim and then finishing in Larne. So who is actually going to visit the trail? So based on previous research that we've done with other long distance trails, so the likes of the Southwest Coast Path and the Wales Coast Path, which you'll hear more about later on, we anticipate the majority of visitors will be short distance walkers. So 70 to 80% will be short distance walkers. So those that have maybe seen the trail on Facebook or their local newspaper and they want to experience it, but they certainly don't want to experience a long section of it. They just want to maybe walk 2 to 5 miles. And we will hear from Eve Nicholson from the Wales Coast Path that the actual average stretch walked along it is actually just 3 miles long. And another group falling into this category would be previous long distance and through walkers that have walked the IAT, but they want to come back now and walk a short distance because they're maybe getting a wee bit older. Then a third of visitors we expect to be actual walkers, so medium to long distance walkers. So they'll be walkers that will walk maybe 10 to 15 miles per day over multiple days, over weekends, over weeks, or they will complete the route in its entirety. And those walkers will require walking specific services, which I'll go on to talk about. So this just breaks down the visitor even further, just gives you a wee bit more detail on their motivations and who they are. So first of all, the short distance walker, the IAT is only one part of their trip. They will be doing other things while they're here, and they really only want to experience a short section of it. They don't want to be on it all day long. They're still keen to hear about it and learn about the history of the trail, so that they're keen to go on a guided walk. Then we have the actual walker, which is broken down into 3 groups. We've got the medium distance, the long distance, and the through walker. So the medium distance walker, they'll enjoy walking as part of, or it might be the main reason for their trip, and they'll complete 1 or more days walking, and they may book some walking services. Then we have the long distance walker, who's an enthusiastic walker, and definitely they will come and visit because it's the main reason for their trip. and they'll participate in 1 week of walking or completing large sections of longer distance trails. And they're very interested in bagging trails, so if you like putting them on their bucket list. Then we have the through walker. The through walker will walk the IAT in one go. It's in its entirety. They're an avid walker, and you could say that they're someone seeking solitude, and they've completed other significant long distance trails before, and they are very self-sufficient. So they'll carry all their own food and pitch their own tent. So the requirement for walking services is less with the through walker. And through this marketing project, we'll be carrying out 2 marketing campaigns, one in Ireland and one in America, because of those links with the Appalachian Trail. There's lots of people in America who've done the Appalachian Trail that would be interested in completing this trail. So what services do they require? We'll start off with the short distance walker, because that's going to be the majority of visitors. So again, that, as I mentioned before, they're keen to hear and learn about the trail, so that they are interested in going on a guided walk, a short guided walk, and they're keen to have refreshments and toilet stop maybe before or after their guided walk, and tea and coffee and scones. And then, because one of the marketing campaigns we will be carrying out is in America, some Americans will have hire cars and some won't. So there may be a requirement for a shuttle service to and from their hotel to the start point of the different walks. The medium to long distance walker will require accommodation, food and drink, shuttle services to and from their hotel. They might require luggage transfers to their next accommodation, and some, more so than the medium distance walker, may require walk guides and learn about the trail as they go from the walk guide. So how can local businesses service these walkers? I understand that some businesses will be reluctant to offer services at the start until the trail is well established and attracting a significant amount of visitors. But again, it is like that chicken and egg scenario, that until there's walker services available and packages available, that's what's going to attract more walkers to the trail. So based on who we anticipate that's going to visit the trail, we would recommend that local businesses focus on providing for that short distance walker, because at the end of the day, that's going to be 70 to 80% of visitors. Whether it's offering guided walks, providing storytelling, partnering up with a local cafe to offer tea, coffee and scones before or after the walk, and if you can, provide shuttle services for those that may need to and from their accommodation. And even though the number of medium to long distance walkers initially will be lower until the trail is well established, it is still worth providing for that visitor, because that's still going to be a third of the visitors. So whether that's offering packages that include accommodation or packed lunches that walkers can take out with them during the day and when they're walking, and evening meals when they get back, whether there's walk guides for the longer distance sections of the trail, and offering shuttle services and luggage transfers as well. And don't forget, if you can't provide all of the visitor services in one package, then there's lots of people and lots of businesses on this call that you can partner up with and work collaboratively to provide for that visitor. So whether that's just a walk guide partnering up with a local cafe to offer tea, coffee and scones after their guided walk, it's all about working in partnership. So to help you stand out and be really proactive in attracting walkers to your business, there's some things that you can do just to tailor your current offering. So whether that's offering storage, washing and drying facilities for walkers' equipment, providing information on local IAT walks, so giving them access to the new IAT website, which will be IATUlsterIreland.com, and that will contain information on the route and all the walking services. You can stock the new trail guide that we're producing, provide information on local walk guides, offer shuttle services and luggage transfers if they're required, offering a hot drink after a long day's walking, which I know would be really welcomed, providing access to kitchen facilities early in the morning for walkers to prepare food or offer early breakfasts before they head out, providing walkers discounts. Something that's really useful and I really recommend all the businesses to do along the route is to recce the route and just really get to know it and put yourself in walkers' shoes just to understand what they might require. And then lastly is thinking maybe about becoming pet friendly, just because more and more walkers are going out walking with their dogs. And here's just some examples, just to give you a wee bit of inspiration of how these businesses are standing out and attracting walkers. So, discounts for walkers, or there's dry-in facilities. The two pictures on the right hand side are pictures from accommodation providers in America along the Appalachian Trail. So you've got some quirky walking boots just along the fence, and then you've got an Appalachian Trail sign within the accommodation. On the left hand bottom left, we've just got a sign outside a local pub for attracting, welcoming walkers and welcoming their pets. And then in the middle there is a coffee cart that it's actually set up along the Lagan towpath, and they've got picnic tables all around it. So for walkers that are walking the Lagan towpath, they can stop and have coffee and pastries and sit down and enjoy them. So from October time, Outdoor Recreation and I will be running 3 marketing campaigns that you can get involved in. So we'll be running one in Northern Ireland and Donegal, and we'll be doing launch events, and we'll be using those to kickstart those campaigns. We'll be running a campaign in Ireland, and then we'll be running a campaign in North America, just because of the links with the Appalachian Trail. So in North America, we'll be targeting those people that have walked the Appalachian Trail to come and do the International Appalachian Trail here. And then we will also, for the short distance walker, we will be using the likes of tour operators that have itineraries already in Northern Ireland and Donegal. And we will also be using Tourism Ireland to promote direct to the American consumer. Because we have such a limited budget in North America, for that short distance walker, we want to focus on IAT walks that are close to areas that are famous and well known by the American visitor, and some places that they're already maybe going to visit anyway. So the likes of Loch Esk, Giant's Causeway, the Ulster American Folk Park. So there's 2 ways that you can get your business promoted. First of all, you can get a listing on the website itself. And then what you can also do is submit an IAT experience for the website, and we will use those experiences to promote in marketing campaigns. Now, there's nothing that you need to do really at the minute. Outdoor Recreation staff will be in touch with you to help you and support you in creating and developing IAT experiences, or just simply tailoring your own offering. And we will also send content on the International Appalachian Trail Ulster Ireland. We can send photos, we can send videos, we can send press releases, so that you can promote the trail on your website and social media platforms too.
Thanks, Beverly. I'm now going to just take you through the visitor services that we have identified are available along the 9-mile section of the International Appalachian Trail through mid-Ulster. You'll see on this there's various maps, and we also outline various suggestions that we think would be good to be made within the council area. So in carrying out our gap analysis, we identify what various service provisions are available for the visitor on or near the route. We kept this within close proximity to the trail because we know the visitor doesn't want to travel too far away from the trail, especially if they're doing a through walk or a multi-day walk where they're looking to get back on the trail early the next day. You can see here on the map. Now I'll make a slight disclaimer before I begin talking about this section that one of the things we've been doing as part of this project is working with councils just to audit the trail line to make sure the trail line is correct for our walkers that are coming to explore. And you can see in the section from Glen Shane Forest at the top of this map, it should actually connect through the lower section of forest down to Moneyneeney. And we're working on that as I speak, and that will be updated within the gap analysis and various other maps. But looking at the map, we can see that there is quite a a decent amount of service provision for the visitor near the trail. For a small section of trail at only 9 miles, it's actually a very sufficient amount, and the visitor can certainly find somewhere to stay and somewhere to eat nearby to the trail. We can also see that there's an activity centre, so again, people can perhaps travel from there to the trail, and they can find other activities there, and they can also arrange accommodation there as well. And we have highlighted these in our gap analysis, which I'll explain in just a moment. So you can see here in our analysis of the visitor services in Mid-Ulster that accommodation close to the route through Mid-Ulster is actually really good. But our comment is that while sufficient, more accommodation could be made available directly on the trail. So perhaps this is someone delivering and installing glamping pods, or maybe a campsite along the trail. Whatever that may be, maybe there is some options or some avenues people can explore to provide provision right on the trail. With regards to food and drink, it follows a similar comment that there is food and drink options close to the route, but again, nothing along the route. So while sufficient, maybe more food and drink provision could be made available directly on the trail. This doesn't necessarily mean permanent buildings being built, but perhaps there is a coffee trailer that could cover the area in busy forest environments such as Moydamla if the visitor footfall increases significantly. And that would act as a perfect opportunity to put a service provider there on the trail. With regards to walking provision, when we carried out the gap analysis, we weren't actually able to identify any existing walking providers. However, the Sperrin Gateway Landscape Partnership has just completed a training course for tour guides. So this has formed a cluster, which is fantastic. And actually now we can say that the walking provision is sufficient. But again, we challenge walking providers to have a think about what extra things they can build on. Perhaps it could be shuttling people between a walk and their accommodation and things like that, or maybe providing packed lunches for someone heading out on the trail for a day. We're not necessarily asking you to think of a new business. We're actually asking you to think of how you can add to your business something of added value to the visitor. And it's a really exciting opportunity. I should say, with regards to walking provision, we were able to identify some walking providers from outside of the council area who were able to provide walking tours within Mid-Ulster. However, it would be great to see some local tour guides. With regards to business opportunities in Mid-Ulster, we're going to look at this in two different ways. We're going to look at the short distance walker, and we're also going to look at the medium and long distance walker. For this, we're talking about people who maybe walk more than 5 miles along the trail, those who spend a full day, 2 days, 3 days, or through walk the trail. One thing the short walker is really looking for is short guided walks with refreshments, using the area's unique selling points. So in other webinars, we've talked about this as unspoilt landscapes, Irish traditions such as cutting of the bog, storytelling. Maybe the walk stops by a local pub. Maybe there's a famous local cafe or a famous historic point that everybody loves to go and explore. That's where we want people to really feel that there can be added value to their experience. These are people that are coming to the area, maybe they're there on a staycation or just for the weekend, so it'll be really good to add into their journey through the area. For medium and long distance walkers, these people are really looking for accommodation, evening meal, packed lunches, shuttle service, guides, luggage transfers, etc. And one of the things we're really keen people get is a package. So whenever they're planning to come to the area, we're encouraging them to think about it and think about getting a package together before they come. One of the things about such rural walks is that public transport can be quite difficult. So we're encouraging them to seek out shuttle services and taxi services, and we know from the likes of the Wales Coastal Path the benefit of those packages for people. If it's easy for someone to book, it's easy for them to come and explore, and that's what really draws them into the area. I had mentioned previously about accommodation and food and drink opportunities directly on the trail. Glamping pods, camping sites, things like that actually open up the opportunity for a walker to stay close to the trail. Then they can decide if they want to leave early and explore the next section of trail they can. And it also means they're less reliant on maybe a shuttle service. We also know from the trail in other locations that this works well because a lot of people enjoy wild camping or camping, that they feel a lot more connected to nature in this way. So we're keen to encourage that. With regards to the hub towns, these aren't necessarily easy to get to. As I mentioned, in rural areas, public transport can be hard to come by. So we are talking about accommodation providers and service providers being able to provide a shuttle service to and from the trail. Again, I would encourage this to be pre-booked before people come along, but these would be pulling people into the hub towns, the likes of Draperstown, Magherafelt, Monaneeny, etc. So people are being pulled back into the hub section and then easily left back off at the trail. There's currently no existing walking festival in Mid-Ulster, and we always encourage this to change. We see walking festivals happen pre-COVID across a lot of Northern Ireland, and this is something that can really draw people in from across the world. We see this in more an international walking festival where we see large volumes of people come to the area from across not only the UK but the world. As mentioned, we're not asking for you to start a new business. We're asking you to build into your business to see what that niche is, what that extra thing is you can provide to a walker, to tailor your current offering to attract walkers. As I say, you don't have to set up a new business. If you build in a shuttle service and maybe local guided tours, that is sufficient. If you start adding in packages, that's great too. And that's why we really want in this webinar to put you at ease that we're not encouraging you to go and change what you do. We're asking you to think about the walker and how you can tap into them. We also want to encourage you to promote the trail on your own marketing platforms. We know that your clients and customers are loyal. Perhaps they're people who come and walk with you on a regular basis. Maybe they stay in your accommodation at least once a year or every couple of years. Maybe you see returning American visitors on an ongoing basis because they love the area so much. So we encourage you to talk about the International Appalachian Trail on your marketing platforms, so your website, your social media, and so on. We are happy to support that, and we'll be sending out some marketing material that'll make it nice and easy for you to share information on the trail. You can see throughout my presentations today that I've included a number of new pictures. You've never probably seen these before. We've hidden them away until the point of launch of the trail and the marketing campaign. But again, you'll be able to gain access to these images, which are really nice for your social media and your website and so on. And we encourage you to link people through to the new website where they can find more information about the route. We'll also be promoting, as Bev says, your businesses. So it's really key that we get you listed. So Outdoor Recreation Northern Ireland, as I said earlier in this webinar, is here delivering the marketing campaign. And Ethan from Outdoor Recreation will be in contact to help you develop your IAT visitor experiences. This will be a very interesting section of the new website in which a visitor can go and see what is on offer. Is there a guided tour with a shuttle service from their accommodation? Can they get that package deal? Whatever it may be, we're hoping that you will get it listed on the website, and it's something really exciting for us to promote. Ethan's email address is there. It's ethan@outdoorrecreationni.com. It's a long email address, so please just take note of it. Ethan will also, and various members of our team will be in touch over the next number of months to make sure you get a good position on our website and are part of our marketing campaign, as I said, to America, the Republic of Ireland walkers, and as well local walkers. Just because someone lives in Northern Ireland doesn't necessarily mean that they're not interested in the experience that they can get. If they're from Belfast, maybe they want to go to Mid Ulster and experience some of the fantastic spurn views or forests that are available. So we're really excited to get these listed, and we'll do our best to get you up onto the website with a really exciting package that we can promote for you. I'm now going to introduce you to Eve Nicholson. Eve is part of the Wales Coastal Path team, and she, as I mentioned earlier, has done a fantastic and very inspiring pre-recorded presentation for us on the Wales Coastal Path and the various service providers who have created businesses along the route. She's also going to give some insight into who is walking the trail. And we can see that will be reflected somewhat in the trail that we have here through Donegal and Northern Ireland. So enjoy, and I'll speak to you afterwards.
Hello, I'm Eve Nicholson and I work for the Wales Coast Path team here in Wales. We've been asked by the Outdoor Recreation Northern Ireland to talk about how we engage with businesses along the way. Firstly, let's introduce ourselves. The Wales Coast Path is 870 miles long and it is a footpath that follows the entire Welsh coastline. It was officially launched open for business in May 2012 as one of the few coastal footpaths in the world around the country. We do a variety of business to business and business to consumer marketing activities, and we work very closely with Visit Wales, which is the tourism arm of Welsh Government and Welsh Government, who are the funders of the path. We have a dedicated team of path officers covering all of those marketing sectors that you see on the image, as well as a small marketing team. If you have time, there is a video there which is basically an overview of what the path means to different people through drone footage and interviews. The path also incorporates some well-used and existing walking routes that were already marketed as coastal walking routes, such as the Isle of Anglesey in North Wales, Ceredigion in Midwest, and it also includes the Pembrokeshire Coast Path in the west, which is already part of the Appalachian Trail. So who are our target audiences? So when I was thinking about who we actually target, I was thinking of the types of behaviours and kind of the trends that our audiences display on our social media, and also the people who we've met along the way on the path. And these are the kind of traits that really spring to mind. So we have those who are adventurous, who already know about the path and they're all very enthusiastic walkers anyway. They tend to want to through hike or walk the path over a long period of time, and some do it over 5, 6, 7 years, so there's lots of repeat visits. We have those who are just find out about the path and they are seeking more information, they're enthusiastic with the information they have to hand and they just want to start walking it. Then we have those new audiences who have yet to discover the Wales Coast Path, and recently new audiences for us have been the Welsh Youth Movement. So we've been working with the IAT, which is the National Voluntary Youth Organisation here in Wales, as well as the Brownies, and also the National Churches Trust. We also market to coastal accommodation providers, such as those B&Bs, those campsites and hotels along the path. The travel trade, tour operators and travel agents with Visit Wales, and also coastal businesses, which may be cafes, shops, kiosks, that really make walking the path an experience. So those are the people who we market to on a B2B basis. So here are some key audience insights into our customers. Our 2015 visitor survey found that there was a nearly equal split between male and female visitors, and the average age of 53 years old. This is actually in reverse to what's on our social media following. On Facebook in particular, we have more females, but same age range. So that's quite an interesting observation. 59% of the Wales Coast Path walkers who were included in the survey actually resided in Wales, but there was also a large proportion of walkers from the North West England, South West Wales and the Midlands. The average spend is around £4.63 whilst on the path, so spending money on, say, drinks, a bit of food and things like that, and the average distance walked was 3 miles. Whilst we've been walking on the path, we've seen people from overseas, we've seen families, but we've also seen groups. So there's quite a variety of walkers on the path. So when we were asked how businesses have adapted to the path and its visitors, I did a quick Google search and I found these two hotels, both based in the southwest coast in Wales on the Gower Peninsula. Now you will see from the screenshots of their websites is that they know what their visitor wants, what the walker wants. So for example, the hotel on the left hand side, they have a dedicated walking page. They offer walking itineraries to take away, but they also offer facilities aimed at walkers specifically. So that's things like offering a packed lunch somewhere dry to dry their clothes, and provision of maps, which is always a really good thing, and those good things to offer. And the same with the one on the right, they actually link to our website to give their guests more information to help them plan their visit to the Wales Coast Path and to their accommodation. So this particular coastal accommodation really sprang to mind in terms of the way they market themselves on social media. So Aberporth Coastal Holidays, they are in West Wales on Ceredigion, and this is a screenshot of their Instagram account. Now the first thing that really strikes me is their inspirational content mixed in with details of their offer. So it's mainly about what you would find there in terms of the stunning scenery and the things to do. And when we spoke to them, they said they learned that the Coast Path is a really big draw for their visitors. So what they do now on their social media posts is that they put some detailed walks on their Instagram account. They do plenty of videos and they use our hashtags, and most importantly they tag us on their posts, and that's really good because it means that we can we can reshare, we can comment on all their great content, and it's good for customers to see what they're expecting. The one thing that I really did like about this particular social media account is that on the right hand side there, they have easy to access highlights. So there you see guest reviews. They have a bit about Coast Path, the beaches, the Aberporth and days out. And these are really easy to access information for their visitors. And the one thing that you probably can't see much on the actual presentation, but they've also put a window sticker in their window. Now, on previous business engagement events, we gave out window stickers which said Wales Coast Path welcoming walkers, and we encouraged the business at the time to put these up in their window for passing trade. And it's really as a way of raising brand awareness physically on the path, because it's 870 miles long, but you won't see a way marker, say, every mile, every 2 miles. So when you come to places along the path where there's buildings, it was important for us that there was a physical awareness of the logo and our ethos. And so they've taken on board and put the sticker in their window, which is really good for both of us, really. So thinking about the other businesses that we market to about the path, we thought of Anglesey Walking Holidays. So they specialise in guided coastal walks, and they also do those extra things like accommodation booking, providing maps, and working with other local businesses, for example eateries, on suggestions on where to eat. And not only do they do walking holidays, they also offer cycling holidays. So there's an extra bit of activity that their walkers could do as well. The second business that we thought of was the Llŷn Coastal Bus Service. Now, this was initially a 2-year trial using grants from public sector. And now it's part of a Welsh Government transport initiative to have buses running in certain parts of Wales. Now, the USP for this service is that there is no fixed route or timetable. So walkers can book their space on the bus from wherever they start or finish on the path via phone or online booking. Now, this is a really big draw for this particular bus service because they're servicing a section of the path that has very little or no public transport on popular walking days. So they're available from Friday to Monday for a small fee. And the bonus about this is that it's also being used by locals along the coast path as well. So when we were asked about best practices in promoting the Wales Coast Path, we immediately thought of the experience of being on the path. So walking the Welsh coastline and soaking up our heritage and our unique language along the way is our USP. And Trade Insights found that when people come to Wales, they want an authentic experience. When they're out in the open, they want something uniquely Welsh. And also research shows that people like multi-activity holidays. So combining, say, walking with a bit of cycling, a bit of shopping and things like that. So with those insights in mind, we worked with Snowdonia Active, a not-for-profit organisation, which operates as a consultancy delivering projects linked to outdoor recreation, tourism and conservation in Wales. And as a part of an existing project, they were putting together a collection of memorable experiences. And these encourage the visitor to bond with Wales via distinctive and engaging products. So we thought, oh, this sounds really interesting. Let's see how this can work for Wales Coast Path and walking. So we ran a webinar, and it was aimed at businesses or individuals to see how they can combine their business or interest with the path. So the experience that is exampled here is a wild swim adventure with the Blue Tits. So the Blue Tits are a group of people who love swimming in the sea no matter what the weather is. So their experience, their offer is walk the coast path in Pembrokeshire and finish off with an organised swim in the sea, followed by a hot drink and great company. And this is quite a unique experience, and it gives our Wales Coast Path visitors a little bit of added extra value to their time in Wales. And we just thought that combining the Wales Coast Path walking with other experiences, it just gives a more rounded holiday experience. So how do we optimize or make the most of the customer journey along the path for customers to be able to experience the coast path at its best? So in terms of the reach part of the diagram here, we make sure that we have good quality visitor information on our website. So adhering to search engine optimization principles is really important so that people can find us easily online. We also use social media to deliver good content suited to our customers. So we share our walking itineraries according to what's trending or relevant at the time. So when it comes to summer holidays, we push out our family itineraries. And we also do printed leaflets about the path, and we get those distributed all over Wales, as well as inland areas, to coastal accommodation, so B&Bs, campsites. We also do them where there's high footfall, such as supermarkets and libraries, and also at transport hubs, such as service stations and key areas where people enter Wales. We try and get people to act upon our marketing efforts. So for example, we encourage people to join our Facebook community group, and this has been extremely popular during the summer, where people were doing staycations because of the pandemic. And so we had a lot of people joining the community group, asking where's the best place to start, and putting up inspiring pictures of their walks on the path. And this is a really good social listening tool for businesses to see what questions are people asking and see whether your business can plug those gaps in information. We also want people to download our Wales Coast Path app. We use augmented reality and drone footage and games on our app to help people discover the path in a different way, in a more fun way. But we also have a track my walk function, which is really aimed at those people who want to walk the path for long periods of time and to track their walk. And we also want people to download or share our walking itineraries on their social media. In terms of the Convert, we have our newsletters, which goes out as and when there are really relevant things to talk about. And we have a mixture of B2B and B2C subscribers. We roughly have about 1,400 subscribers at the moment. Each newsletter has a bit of stuff about current work and forward look, and it links to our marketing toolkits where appropriate. So these are really good also kind of things to catch up on, so that you know where we're going with our marketing and promotional activity. We want to engage with people on the path, so we definitely encourage user-generated content by sharing and commenting and and liking. And with the Aberporth Coastal Holidays social media account on Instagram, that's a prime example of really using good imagery of where you are on the path to inspire, enthuse and help people discover a different part of the Wales Coast Path. We also do live streams on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram where possible. Again, that real life feed is really engaging and it can be easily shared on social media channels. So how do we help businesses optimize the path? Well, we have developed a series of marketing toolkits. So the one on the far left is a marketing toolkit designed at any coastal businesses. And so this is basically a guide on how to use the pulling power of the Wales Coast Path, with top tips and insights in what we promote about the path, giving ideas such as packed lunches, providing maps, showing their visitors where they can walk. And the more information that people have at accommodation, the better, and they can decide then on where they want to go. We've also put together a travel trade toolkit. We saw that there was a bit of a gap in our information provision, and we have been targeting businesses but not the travel trade. So we worked with Visit Wales on developing a travel trade toolkit. And with this, we put together details on where to stay, getting about, cruise port facilities, things to do, where to shop and where to eat and drink, and all that essential information for a tour operator or travel agent to put together for their customers. We've also put together official professional imagery and video, and these are all accessible on our social channels, and they're free to download and free to use in their promotional marketing as well. So I've come to nearly the end of my presentation. This is where you can find further information about us. So these are the links to our website and our social channels, but also the toolkits. You can find us online using the handle @Wales Coast Path, and we're on the main platforms. And those are hashtags, and if you have any queries, you can easily email us on that email there. So without further ado, I just want to say thank you very much for listening. We hope that we've given you a little bit of inspiration, a few ideas on how we've engaged with businesses along the Wales Coast Path, and thank you.
Thank you for that really insightful presentation. You can really see the importance of integrating what's going on in the trail with the experiences, and Eve has included her email address within her presentation, so please do rewind back and take note of that. Eve is happy to take your questions and to provide you some examples, maybe ones she hasn't touched on, that maybe you would like to learn from. So please do get in touch with her. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you once again for joining this webinar, and we thank you for taking and carving the time out of your busy schedules to do so. We look forward to working with you over the coming months and year to really establish yourselves as service providers along the trail. As I said, this is part of one of a series of webinars that are taking place in each of the council areas. So we're seeing such a enthusiasm and passion for the walkers coming to the trail that we know they'll be really part of something special when they arrive. They'll have plenty of options for places to stay, food and drink, and ultimately things like walking providers really provide such key insights into the area that people leave so inspired from what they've heard, whether it's about the geology of the area and the flora and fauna, or whether it just be simply someone pointing them in the right direction and picking them up after a long day of walking. It can really be shaped into something really special, and you are a part of that. So thank you so much for joining us. As I said, you can get in touch with my colleague Ethan at outdoorrecreationnorthernireland.com. And Ethan will help you with shaping those experiences. He can also give you insight into what else is going up onto the website. So perhaps you can see an idea that someone else has come up with and think of a way you can maybe tie in with them to create a package. Or else maybe there's an idea that you can integrate into the council area and the trail that goes through Mid-Ulster. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing your experiences and your various visitor services listed on the new website and working with you through the marketing campaign. Thank you.